Welcome. We got another episode of Stu and the Crew. Co-host Jeremy Kelley. I am joined by the one and only Carolina Panthers all-time leading rusher, Jonathan Stewart. And Brenton's got something. Don't interrupt my intro.
I was just going to do a woo.
Woohoo!
Maybe we can
insert
some claps.
Bring the juice. We can do claps.
Yay.
We can do claps. I like the claps.
All-time leading rusher.
All-time leading rusher.
All time.
And Wofford's finest. 5-year NFL career. Undrafted, born and raised, homegrown from Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte Latin's very own, Brenton Bersin. Welcome.
Do the same claps.
Golf claps. And I'm your co-host with absolutely zero accolades, Jeremy Kelley.
Nah, you're
Good to see y'all.
Man, listen, man.
Good to see y'all.
Don't you say that.
Jeremy Kelley, absolutely
humble.
Zero accolades.
Jeremy is just one of the most humble guys you would ever come across.
I just work here.
He's well connected in the NFL world. He's well connected and well versed. He's got massive hands because he played football in the National Football League.
I noticed that too earlier.
Yeah, like
every time I see him, we dap up.
He
engulfs my hand.
You ever seen the slap box thing?
Yeah,
where they like,
I'm not taking part in that.
You ever done a slap bet?
Your hand would probably win.
Yeah, but you see the cats that do that, they look like Julius Peppers, you shake his hand, and I feel like like a high school.
Yeah,
kid.
how does it feel when you shake Julius?
Julius's hand? I'll tell you, the first time that I met Pep last year, we were doing the sizing. We had a sizing Saturday for Hall of Honor. Mm-hmm. So what that consists of is you bring him in. We have the sculptor, get him sized for a bust, get him sized for his jacket with the tailor, all these different things, right? So folks at home can't see me sitting down here, but I'm 6'6".
Yeah, you tall.
I'm bigger than the average human
probably
being.
6'5" right now.
I'm slouching.
Yeah,
okay.
you just,
I'm 6'6".
over time you shrink.
I'd give him
Point
6'6",
being,
just so I can be 6'3".
As I'm standing there, I meet Pep and I shake his hand. I'm like, I felt like a high school kid meeting a professional football player.
Yeah.
Like I always say this: there's NFL players and there's dudes.
Hall of Famers.
Julius Peppers is a dude.
Yeah.
So anyway,
we're just regular guys.
He's just in a class of his own. But Brenton Bersin, you are too. The first Carolina Panther out of Wofford College.
Yep.
Shout out to Wofford. Shout out to
Spartanburg.
Shout out
to Wofford, man.
And shout out to Big Cat.
Big Cat.
The one before me.
That's
from
right.
Wofford.
That's right.
There it is.
Didn't have the pleasure to meet him.
So that's the only two.
Technically, no. There was a punter and kicker that played with me at Wofford that bounced around the league for a little bit, Casey Redfern.
Okay.
And we were talking about it before. He was here for a day, I think.
Okay. Was it before you or after you?
No, it was with us.
Oh. Sorry.
I think we signed him as a punter. And I can't remember. Don't quote me on this. Either traded or signed him during camp or the tail end of camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was here for a day. And I was excited because it was like 2 Wofford guys. And then he was shipped. I think it was in the Andy Lee trade.
I think I remember that now.
It was either we traded for Andy and sent him or vice versa. I don't remember what it was. But
that's how it goes.
There was a one-day overlap.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, Casey.
What are you doing right now in your life? What's brand new in your life right now?
My wife and I welcomed a beautiful baby girl 4 months ago.
Girl dad. Another clap. Okay.
So that's
girl dad.
Are you getting sleep right now?
Yeah, she just turned 4 months old and sleeping through the night.
Well done.
Yeah.
So my wife's doing a great job.
How many diapers have you changed?
Well, it wasn't you.
No, I'm not doing anything besides that.
Changing diapers.
1,000.
1,000? Nice. So I got a question. Yeah. So when you and your wife were like, hey, we're going to make a baby list of like the things that people can give us as gifts for baby gifts.
Yep.
When we did this, I basically wanted all diapers.
Just like actual diapers?
I just want people to
items.
drop off diapers.
Yep.
And not the baby size. I want the 1s and the 2s, the 3s. Because when you run out of diapers, bro,
you get a fulfillment center.
And you need a diaper, and in the heat of the moment, you don't have a diaper?
It's mayhem.
It's mayhem. And you know there's there's one diaper left in the trunk of the car, and it's raining outside.
I'm holding her, hoping she doesn't pee on me, running to go get that diaper.
Yeah. So
we signed up for the subscription
Yeah.
with one of the brands.
We did that the second time.
And it's supposed to be every month, and it's every like 12 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like I have to go
Stu's
in.
eyes just lit up.
It's like your next shipment's supposed to go out in 3 weeks. I'm like, we need it now.
Now. Today. Today,
Yeah.
Junior.
Wow.
So we're going through a lot of diapers. But to answer your question, we didn't do one of the, like, some people do diaper, like not a diaper shower, but the gift is just a bunch of diapers.
Mm.
We didn't do that. But the best thing we didn't find out if we were having a boy or girl.
Okay.
So
Waited.
for the gifts and stuff, everything was practical.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a bunch of like pink dresses or anything,
Right.
We
Like
got
baby bottles.
the best item is the diaper. It's like a little diaper trash can. Next
Oh,
to
yeah.
it.
The thing that doesn't stink up your house.
Oh my god, it's perfect.
Yeah.
You put like a little pedal thing on
And then it
It's
just
amazing.
closes in and just seals up.
you
And
like-
just like, ah.
This is amazing.
But this,
And this segment's presented by Huggies.
Yeah,
Can we get a sponsor on this?
Coterie.
I love it.
Coterie.
All right.
that's the one we use.
Oh,
How do you
Coterie.
say it?
There you
I
go.
don't know. Coterie.
Coterie or
Oh
Coterie?
my gosh.
We need to
Coterie.
find out.
Uh,
And we also need a sponsor.
Yeah.
Well, here we are with a couple girl dads.
Yep.
So everybody's listening, tune in. You know what? Let me
Boom.
ask this question because this is always a great question. And we talk about everything on this show, from football to life. Obviously, our Panthers. What is the one quality that you've recognized, or maybe downfall, about yourself since becoming a father?
Mm.
Downfall?
Or
I always-
or quality. What have
Okay.
you known? Where is your strength and where is your weakness? Something that you now look back and you feel I'm better for now being a father.
And it might be being a father or specifically a girl dad, but I've never been an empathetic person.
Mm.
I don't know if that's
Same here.
I don't know if that's just being a male or sports or football, whatever it is. But ever since having her name's Ann Charlotte, ever since having our baby, I think that's naturally happening.
Yeah.
I
That's,
still struggle with it, but
And especially because you're a girl dad that just so happened to play the most barbaric sport
Yeah.
of all time, football.
You have a certain makeup.
It's kind of our DNA and our nature to say, hey, put some dirt on it, you'll be okay. Or we can't hear about that right now. We got to focus on the game. We got
Yep.
practice tomorrow.
Meanwhile, it's your fault. She's out of diapers, and now you're like, no excuses, just results. Get up, change yourself.
figure it out.
Well, here we are.
Hey, man, you should just crawl to the bathroom and just use the toilet.
I'll catch myself
Oh,
telling
my
her
God.
like stop or shush while she's
Yeah.
like whining while I'm changing her
And she's
diaper,
like-
and
and you're
she's
like-
just like,
she's
Not
just a baby.
comprehending.
like, why
Yeah.
am I even talking to her right now?
I'm sure she's a lot smarter than that. You're a smart guy, Charlotte Latin guy.
Yeah, man.
Couple former professional athletes out of there, right?
Yeah, Daniel
Can
Jones.
you name them? Stu, can you
That's
name 'em?
right.
Daniel Jones.
Correct.
Steph Curry.
No.
Mm.
You should know
Latin.
that. Where
Ross
you
Or
right
Cockrell.
now.
Charlotte
Ross-
Christian.
Ross
Yeah,
Cockrell.
Yeah, but we're doing Latin.
Yeah, Latin.
Ross Cockrell,
Correct.
DB,
Yes, I played with him.
former Panther.
Yeah.
Former
Not-
Steeler, former Bill too, I think.
He was
if I'm not
drafted
mistaken.
Buffalo.
That's right.
Got hurt. I think he was traded to Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Then either cut or traded to was the next team Tampa. Or am I wrong?
You might be right about that, actually.
He won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay.
Chris Canty.
Canty,
Ranty. Yeah.
UVA. He was a stud. He
Big
would have been
boy.
a top. I want to say
Mhm.
top 10 pick if he didn't hurt his knee.
That's right. Those are the ones I know.
Or leg.
I did, funny story last night, Steve Smith's Foundation event over at Top Golf. It's great to see you guys there.
That was really fun.
Love the
Very
support.
fun.
It's always good, man. You just get
Golf is life anyway.
Muggsy Bogues, you got all the guys. Antoine Bethea, former teammate from Indianapolis,
Al
showed
Wallace.
up. Shout out to.
Can I say something real quick about Muggsy Bugs?
Go
Yes.
ahead.
And another person that was there. I was standing there with a bunch of guys like y'all, and Muggsy comes up. I'm from Charlotte. I have 5 Muggsy Bugs jerseys from when I was like tiny. He was my favorite. Him and Glenn Rice were my favorite players. So seeing him, I was like a little kid. And then I was talking to Wesley Walls earlier. His jersey still hangs at my mom's house.
I love
in
that.
my room.
That's
So those are
amazing.
like my 2 favorite people.
Let's hit on that right quick. You being from Charlotte, what was that? What was it like when the Carolina Panthers came to Charlotte for
Yeah.
the first time? You being a boy and growing up loving sports and all that. What did that mean to you?
So you were, and you would have been what?
I was
6.
I was 5. So I was born in 90.
Okay,
I went to the first game down in Clemson.
that's too bad. You missed the '80s.
80s, baby.
We were 2 and
87,
3 years old.
Yeah, my older brother's an 80s baby. He told me the decade was vibrant.
It was
even though
very
he
vibrant.
Too.
A lot of
missed it.
breakdancing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool. So just like a lot of people are transplants, right? My mom's from the Midwest, Chicago. So her whole family were Bears fans. My dad grew up in California and Jersey, but a lot of his family, and then my brother was born in San Francisco. So he was a 49ers fan. And that was during the era when Steve Young, Montana. Jerry Rice was my favorite player. I have a funny story about that too. But so we had I was getting pulled in all directions as a young kid. So I loved Jerry Rice. Dad was trying to make me a 49ers fan. Mom's family trying to make me Bears fans. And then there was a lot of people locally that were, at the time, Redskins fans. Commanders fans. Football team fans.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
So you're getting pulled in all these directions. And then it was cool getting your own team. And I was only 5, but it was kind of like all the younger kids getting to kind of band together and be like first era.
That's
fans.
your team.
That's your team.
Yeah.
Cool colors. Like, I feel like all the teams that came about in the 90s, like, had, like, these weird teal and blues and, right? Jaguars
and Panthers came in together.
Panthers, Hornets were, yeah.
Teal.
I wouldn't say our colors aren't weird. The Panthers?
Well, I wouldn't say weird, but it's a
different.
unique. It's a unique color.
Unique.
I remember it vividly because I remember up north, everybody wanted a Panthers starter jacket.
Oh, yeah.
Or a Hornets starter jacket, right? Like, it was the new team. It was the new color.
The logos were like cool,
it
like
was a
unique
thing.
too, right?
I had
the
a
Jaguars.
I had a
logo.
Walmart edition of the Carolina Panthers Julius Pepper jersey.
Sick.
Balling on a budget.
Hey,
Respect.
out there doing it, dog.
But you had it.
I had it. You know what I'm saying?
Continue.
But I may be wrong. Don't quote me on this because I was 5. My dad was trying to dress us in Niners gear, and I remember my brother and I bought Panthers stuff at the game, and we were proud to rock that and kind of talk junk back to our dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
it was cool growing up.
Such a really cool, and I you can easily take for granted when you live in an NFL city. I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and when I think we realize there's some people that drive 3-4 hours on every Sunday just to go watch a football game, man.
Yep.
And when you live in a market that you can drive down the street, get a coffee, go to the grocery store, and then slide over to the game, like, it's unique. There's only 32 of them in the entire country. You know, it's unique.
And you got to remember, 95, that was the first year. So we're celebrating 30 years. That's extremely young for a franchise and a fan base. So obviously we've struggled the past couple of years, and people will start talking about fans not being loyal and all that stuff. But you got to remember, it's so young that it's not even, what is it, first generation?
You have to experience
It is.
this.
Right.
Almost.
Right.
Yes.
So it's up to us to then make this new generation of our kids
That's
be
right.
Panthers fans.
Panthers
and
fans,
then
yeah.
their kids. And right.
It's like so I'm coaching middle school football right now with Luke.
Ooh. I was asked to be on that staff and I declined.
Of course you did, because you are a
Signing bonus wasn't enough.
Charlotte Latin
Was it?
guy.
I can't go support Christian as a Latin alum.
But
Respect.
we are coaching middle schoolers to love football enough to where they end up playing varsity football, JV football, right?
That's right.
That's the job of a coach of a middle school coach, in my opinion, is to, channel this love and excitement for the game to where they decide on their own.
It's pure
to be
form of the
special,
game.
right? It's kind of the same lingo and the same terms as far as what you're talking about, the legacy of the Panther fan. Right now, you're talking about the PSLs. The people that own those are folks that are older, right? Who's going to own those next? Who are the fans that are going to be in the stands supporting the Panthers the way that they've been supported the last 30 years? It's right now we're living in a time where the instant gratification with social media and all these types of things and other team success, the Chiefs, and we have this like image of, oh, we'll be that next year. Nah, man, we got to earn it, right? And as fans, you deserve wins, but you have to. Part of the winning culture is everyone has to buy in. Everyone from the top of the organization down to the organization, throughout the city, throughout the entire Carolinas.
That's right.
And I'm really interested in getting your take on this. You've seen, the Panthers at their very lows, 2-14 season, the the one and done.
to being a part of it
to
at
being,
its
Yeah.
highest peak.
exactly.
And before you answer that, I want to double back on your point of a young club and fan base. My take on this, you have to go through the suffering is what you were getting to.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotta grow.
Our fan base has been spoiled in many ways.
Yeah.
Right? We've been to NFC championships. You've been to 2 Super Bowls. Right? 2? Yeah. So
for 2.
So but we've been to 2 within a 30-year span. You've been to NFC championships in recent years.
Yeah.
In less than there's teams with 20+ year droughts of playoffs.
Yeah, let's talk about who are they.
So we think about that. Well, we just look at. You consider like the Lions last year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you really think about being a fan, going through the trials, going through the tribulations with your team, you got to also recognize, hey, look, okay, this is part of the process.
Yeah.
Like, this happens. There's teams out there that are suffering right now.
And
right?
don't get us wrong, it sucks.
It ain't great, but it's part of it all. It's
Right.
part of it all. It's part of being an NFL fan.
Go back to what you said. The current PSL owners would be like my parents
Mm-hmm.
that were fans of other organizations before that.
Mhm.
Obviously, they came and supported this and had children that are now my age.
That's right.
We're in the infant, 30 years, but we're pretty much in like the beginning years of creating the long-term fan base.
Mhm.
So
Long-term tradition. This is a fun era. Coming from my space here, watching the greats and those that have had success, guys like yourselves, right? The 03 teams coming through and having anniversaries. The 2015 team those anniversaries are coming up. You guys are coming into this maturation phase of greatness and things, and now celebrations, 30-year anniversaries, and Super Bowl team anniversaries. All these things that are coming now. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
Right. It's fun to look back at and see. Hold on, now we were great. Now, obviously, you want to continue this tradition.
It's an intentional time. It's an intentional time
Absolutely.
for like guys our age, like you're saying. It's we have to be intentional about, sharing the history and allowing the history to be present within the organization. It's a huge time to basically, tell the younger generation, hey, the Panthers once were this. You were like 10 when it was, or you were 7 when it was, right? But soon we can get back there.
Comes back around.
It comes back around, and it happens for great organizations in great cities.
That's right.
And Charlotte is primed. The growth of the city is immaculate.
everyone talks about it like how vibrant the city was in 15
Oh,
during the Super Bowl season.
The words I say is, what a time to be alive.
It was awesome. And just think about how much the city's grown and changed since then. So imagine going through that in today's Charlotte.
Ooh, now that's you can get excited about. That's a clap.
would-
You can get excited about that right there.
It would
Get
be-
excited about
yeah.
that right there. We
And
like
then
that.
for us to be on the
We like
fan
that.
side of that,
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, you're
we
not
could
in
actually have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
You guys were eating free everywhere. You guys were eating free
We were,
everywhere.
man. I was going to Morton's getting steak for free.
I got to go back to last night, Steve Smith's event, and I was standing with Al Wallace, and when he saw
Al.
you and he said, "Man, I remember when I was coaching back at Charlotte Victory, I believe it was, is what he
Victory
was,
Christian.
Victory Christian. There you go. And Al was on staff with Brenton Buckner, another legend, Mo Collins, who's an NFL legend as well. There was one other guy, right? So they had an NFL staff. It's like Stu and his crew right now, right? And so he said, we were a great team. We were one game away, but Brenton Bersin got in the way.
Ooh.
Couldn't do nothing with him.
Couldn't stop us.
Catching passes, jumping over people, kick returning, touchdowns. Said you were a guy.
I appreciate that, Big Al.
Said you were a guy.
They-
And then he said,
dude.
he lost track. He lost track, throughout time, and then all of a sudden, next thing I know, he's playing for my team, playing for my team, man. So it's special. But guys like that, I always appreciate stories. Ironically, we were having you on the show today, so that just happened, unsolicited. But I think the highest form of praise you can have is from your peers or somebody like that, right?
100%.
An alumni that recognizes, and obviously got to coach against you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I loved watching him.
what was like
I was a fan.
What was it like when you were in Wofford training camp and you every now and then seeing guys like Julius Peppers, Jake Delhomme, Steve Smith, Musa Muhammad,
Jonathan Stewart.
That's what he was getting to you with.
I was a fan of Jace too.
Yeah. But like, what was it like when you, as a college guy, having this experience where you're seeing potentially what you are working towards every day?
It was, let's just put it like this. It was very interesting. Back then, the Panthers would come in for, 2.5 weeks? And just, when I was at Wofford, just kick us out, basically. Yeah. But we still were there. So it was like we took all of the training facility, all the meeting rooms, everything, weight room. And then we would go be in the like baseball locker room. We didn't even have our practice fields. So we'd have to walk like 1.5 miles to like the intramural field where the new Richardson Arena is. It used to just be like a grass field. And we would practice up there doing 2-a-days. And then we could just hear the Panthers practices going on like on our fields. And
all the fans screaming.
Yeah, the fans would walk by our practice to go watch the Panthers practice.
Man, that sounds terrible.
It was terrible. But seeing
hot and bitter,
all those guys like walking by because we would kind of cross paths randomly. Right. I mean, it was definitely motivation.
I was going to say.
And at the time, I mean, obviously when I was a freshman, I was not highly recruited. I went to Wofford, right? It's a great school, but it was 1AA. So NFL, yes, it was always a dream of mine, but at that time I'm like, I couldn't even get a scholarship to UNC or Duke or somewhere. NFL is probably not going to happen. But later in my career at Wofford, I think it was post-junior year, maybe even sophomore year, it was probably just a Panther scout at camp that would come watch us. But he's like, might as well just go see if they have anybody. But we started having some interest, and that's kind of when it started to like, hey, maybe there is some chance here if there's scouts looking at me. And that's kind of when I was looking at it like,
yeah,
that would be cool to be there one day.
That's right. That's
so,
right.
And then before we change subjects, I have a funny story about all that. Obviously, went to Wofford, had a Wofford sticker on my old Jeep Grand Cherokee. Remember how y'all would stay in the freshman dorm right there by the meeting room?
Right.
It was called Green.
Green room, the green dorm.
We would stay at the dorm next to it. It's called Marsh. So obviously I knew the campus security and everything, just being there for 4 years. My rookie year with the Panthers, same car, same security people. I remember, I think it was Julius Peppers one year told us when we were at Wofford, hey, you can go in a green room, whatever, and just take whatever's in there. He had like some Jordans and cool stuff. My teammate got them. It was awesome. Then we got in trouble with our head coach. Like NCAA was like, you can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
So then the security kind of would not let any Wofford player near green. So fast forward, we're moving out of green my rookie year, and I have my Jeep parked out front, and I'm carrying my TV out to put in the back of my Jeep. And I pretty much get arrested. It's campus security, but they're like screaming at me like, no Wofford students allowed in green. Like, no, like, they thought I was stealing a TV.
They've been tracking you for years,
been watching.
bro.
They're like, "You're a Wofford student. You got a plate and the sticker." I'm like,
Right.
I'm on the team now. I had to like explain everything to them, and it was a whole ordeal, but it was pretty funny.
How many times can you count on one hand, or can you count on nine? Is it limitless as far as like how many interactions you've had like that?
That's the most memorable for sure because
That's
they were
amazing.
about to like.
Him you up.
They were like about to call 911.
He's
like, this
on
is like,
the team.
Yeah.
And that boy still has some TVs over there. Hey.
It was like a 30-inch Vizio.
Unreal.
Still in rent a room stuff. Huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, at the appearance that you had 2 weeks ago that you did for us at the Verizon fantasy draft,
Yep.
I think those young there was a young group, about 23, 24-year-olds had a really cool experience here in the stadium with our partners at Verizon, and they got to host their fantasy draft here, right?
Fun.
Oh, sweet.
And so, bunch of bros coming out, having a good time, enjoying a few beverages, and got to have their band. And Brenton came out to act as the commissioner of the league, so it was cool.
Nice.
Well, before these guys were coming in, I was getting a lot of handshakes. They were coming up to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be introducing you guys to this guy right here. Like, him? I'm
That's
like,
Brenton.
I'm
guy?
like, go Google him. Look up his highlights.
The tucked in
He doesn't
polo.
have the golden hair.
You know, he came in, he was tucked up, he was proper. You know, he looked like, you know. So
Let's not change
he
real quick. I
passed.
want to talk about that. So we made them run the 40 to do their draft order.
Oh, nice.
So JK and
That's
I
what Luke Combs did a couple years ago.
we're out there on the field.
this was an experience.
I have a stopwatch. He's got his Apple Watch. They're starting on the goal line. We're at the 40. It's coned off.
That's right.
First guy goes. If you had to eye test him 5'4", he was nowhere near 5.
There
Like,
was
it
a,
was
yeah,
it
there
was
was
slow.
yeah.
I clock 4.84.
Wow.
So now we're looking at each other.
I'm like, what'd you
right?
get? He's like 4.89.
Again, we got a bunch of 23, 24-year-olds.
15 guys down
just came from work. They got Dockers and Hokas on. They're running on
You're at
turf.
4'8"?
No
Wait for
cleats.
it.
Right?
All right. I'm like,
Second guy goes.
second guy's 4.81.
I'm like,
And he looked
Four-
way slower. I
I'm
was
like 4'9". Right?
like,
okay, we're close.
next guy goes. I clock 4.46.
So,
No.
And he was slow. And I'm like,
said,
wait a second. He goes down there.
What is happening?
They had
they were
had
5 yards short.
They were starting at the 5.
Ah.
I was like, there's no way.
So y'all couldn't catch that.
we were like,
From the
just like,
no,
because
because it
what
wasn't
happened?
the end zone wasn't painted yet or something.
The field wasn't complete. It was kind of transitioning from a soccer game, right? Type of a deal. And so, yeah.
I'm about to say, boy, these
Whoever
boys need to suit
set
up.
whoever set it up, they were 5 yards short. They had the lines mixed up. Those kids had a confidence boost for a short
Yeah.
moment until Brenton and I realized it.
We're
made
like,
them
go run again.
crushed them.
5.5.
6'2".
I think one guy broke 5.
There
4.96.
was a guy that had 4.96. All right,
That's impressive.
I said people
Still.
don't understand how fast running sub 5 is, let alone, you know, a 4.4, a
Correct.
4.5. If you're running a 4.7, you're moving.
You're moving.
There's something you're moving a little bit, right? For is you know,
He was a big dude too.
Yeah.
That we clocked at 4.8. We're like, there's
No way.
big fella
if
was
so-
picking him up, putting him down.
let's
Yeah.
send him. Let's send this to the scouting department.
So,
I mean,
what'd you run at your 40? You seem like an explosive athlete.
We
I'm
talked.
guessing you're
We
probably,
talked about it. So I didn't do the combine.
Okay.
So it was a pro day at Wofford on the field, not a track or anything. So it was in cleats. There's so much variance when you have the hand timers. My strength coach had me at 4.48,
Mm-hmm.
and then the highest one was like a 4.7.
Wow.
I mean,
So-
I've seen it.
So
I'd
they,
say you're a 4.48 guy.
I like to say right in the middle. I'd say I'm a mid
4.55.
at prime. Yeah, mid 4.5s would probably be the fastest
Yeah.
I can go. I'm not gonna get myself 4.4, but I'm not 4.7.
Hey,
Yeah, 4.55.
I mean,
Like
right
I-
now,
like I
I'd
say.
myself-
You think you can beat me in a race? Right now?
you still you pushing 240 was you?
Don't
You
matter.
up-
I
you
was
up there.
240 when I
He's
was
a-
playing.
He's
That boy.
explosive though. He track guy
I got-
too.
Well, are we running 40 or 100?
40.
I think I can get you.
Oh, we're gonna race.
Hey, I'm
All right.
putting lunch on this.
So I
All right.
raced. I raced
We
my
got a
homeboy
bet.
Josh Bush. Got him out.
I saw that in the parking lot.
Yeah, he slipped out of his
It's all
shoes.
stance and start. I'm gonna get with Jed. I'm gonna call
Yeah,
him back up.
get with some.
Hey, we're gonna need to work on our we're gonna work on
Get
our
some
tracks.
speed work
All
going.
We're gonna make this happen. We need this needs to be
Content?
some content.
Yeah,
This is
we can do it on a golf course.
Yeah.
Great grass.
Guess the golf cleats. They get a
Yeah.
little traction.
And then we'll
Down the
we'll only do
fairways.
35 yards for our times.
Yes, so that way people will.
Confidence boost.
Yeah,
Confidence boost. So man, you since transitioning, man, you kind of had your hands in a lot of different things, man. You started the sports app. You got into finance. You got into podcasting with
Old teammate.
Garrett Gilbert,
Yeah.
right? Which oddly enough, I know his father, Gal.
Really,
I do. He's one of my Buffalo Bills legends.
really.
Gail Gilbert, absolutely. He played
Fun
in the
fact-
league,
do you have-
for quite
Do
some
you have
time.
a fun fact for Gail? Because I do.
Go
Fun
ahead.
trivia fact.
Let's hear it.
Like,
Or ask the
I'm
question.
giving away the answer because
Oh.
we're talking about Gail. Only player to lose 4 straight Super Bowls.
Gail.
Gail Gilbert. 3 with the Bills, and then the other one, I want to say Chargers, but I don't know the other team.
Wait a second. All the Buffalo Bills lost 4 straight Super Bowls.
Well, then it's 5 straight. Sorry. So he lost 4 straight with the Bills, and then
And
one
then
with
another
another
one
team.
with the Charger went on
Okay.
too.
Oh,
So
wow.
sorry.
That's tough.
Sorry, Gail.
That's tough.
Dang,
So
Gail.
so back to Garrett.
Well, he produced another professional athlete. Good for him.
Yeah.
So Garrett, aka Glanch, is what I refer to him as.
Yeah. Why do we call him Glanch?
That's another long story. story. There's before Garrett came to Carolina in 17, I think it was 14. We had a quarterback in camp, Matt Blanchard, and his nickname was Blanche. So
You went with Blanche.
he just kind of reminded me of Matt Blanchard when he first came in, and he's double G, so I just called him Blanche.
G2.
G2. Fair enough.
Oh, but back to Garrett or Blanche. Dad lost 5 straight. His first year in the league, he played for a ton of teams, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. So he went back home and said, Dad, it's not that hard.
The level of
Savage.
Disrespect.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
So tell us about this podcast that you guys.
Yeah.
All right, so we started it just for fun. We've stayed close since he was here in Carolina, really good friends. We started it last fall, and it was just us catching up and talking football. We stopped doing it, I think it was mid-season. We both kind of started new ventures. He started in insurance. I started working for this alternative investments firm in Charlotte. So we kind of lost time, which happens with a lot of podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
We decided to fire it back up for this season. We recorded last week, first episode.
What's the name of it?
It's called The Never-Beens.
That's right. Okay.
There's always has-beens.
Tune in.
Yeah, we're kind of making a joke.
Go check 'em out.
'Cause we're The Never-Beens. So that's a plug.
Yeah. You've always been in my heart.
I appreciate that.
That's a teammate.
Always been a never-been?
Sure.
Silence is definite.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're doing that. He also does he went to SMU after transferring from Texas. So he also does a podcast for SMU. So he's kind of doing 2. I know Stu's doing this, obviously, and
yeah, I got a couple.
Several others,
Yeah,
right?
I got
Stu's busy.
Believe in Panthers, Believe in Network.
Hey, we're part of that.
Okay, that was a good network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't leveraged any of the stuff yet because
Yeah, we really haven't either, but it's definitely good for reps.
Yep.
You know, podcasting is it's a skill that you have to really work on and
we're
find your craft and your.
terrible at like scripting.
Oh yeah,
We just kind of go in there and wing it, and it doesn't work.
that's why you have a guy like Jeremy Kelley.
You for hire?
Nope,
Joining the Never-Beens?
Price
We're
is
gonna poach you.
right.
nope.
Okay. We'll talk
He's
off
right
air.
here. But yeah, man, Believe, and then me and Kenyon Barner, we have Ducks of a Feather, which is an Oregon podcast, which is basically centered around the opportunity of bringing in income for NIL for the players. So everything that that we bring in on that podcast goes to NIL.
That's cool.
So it's kind of like the starting. So we talked about this
Yeah.
multiple times, as far as like how do you solve the problem for NIL, and instead of banking on the boosters just to put up a check and all those types of things. So what Oregon's done is they are creating other avenues to channel revenue streams for NIL.
Yep.
And I think it's really smart because what's going to happen is basically you can really create a media company within the organization, within the college, within the football program, and be able to like house all your content for the Big Ten, for the world, and whatever. And you just continue to pump it, because as we know, content is king.
You have free access to the players.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so leverage that, and then now you create a formula and structure to where NIL is getting extra money. So it's a pretty dope concept.
You've had some great guests. Your former teammates and guys, and you played. I mean, again, you talk about your humble beginnings, coming from not having, big time scholarship. You end up at Wofford, and then you land on a Super Bowl team full of personalities and all stars, and the peak of, faces of the NFL during that time that you were there, right?
Yep.
And still, in many ways, the guys that are just highly revered, that had great careers, and so you had relationships with them. And I think about what it must have been like for you to be in that receiver room, in that locker room with guys like Cam, with guys like TD, with guys,
Like Chase Stu.
like Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah.
Of course, plug for Stu. Love
2004
a lot of brotherhood.
I
here.
want to
You
talk
guys-
about 2014 because that receiver room for me was different. You had Jericho Cotchery, you had Jason Avant, two guys,
seasoned vets.
one of the most level-headed people that I've ever come across. What was that like in that room where you had different personalities, different age like
And I don't want
gaps.
to. Yeah, I don't want to butcher it because I might be wrong with the timing of everything. But let's take a step back. 2013, I was practice squad that whole year, but that was Smitty's last year,
Okay.
and we had a great year. Obviously, lost the home playoff game in the second round to San Francisco,
San Fran.
and then
I was
Smitty.
hurt that game.
Smitty was too, I think.
Yeah,
He played and played well, but he had a knee. I remember he missed
I had a
the
knee.
last week.
I had an MCL deal, and that was the first time that I actually got introduced to Dr. Nevin Markle.
Shout out.
Shout out to
Goat.
Nevin Markle, the GOAT. He added at least 4 or 5 years to my career.
He
Love that.
honestly made my career,
Yeah.
right? Because I had so many small nagging injuries that, like a tweaked hammy. And then when you're like a bubble guy, you can't just
That's
sit
right.
out for a tweaked hammy.
That's
You just
right.
have to.
You had a toe thing, too.
I had so many things, but Nevin was amazing.
Isn't it amazing how you can bond?
I was just
over
gonna say, like,
injuries?
I remember your toe. You had a hangnail.
You had a.
Week 3.
Bro, let's talk about that.
I basically broke my big toe.
Yeah. Like, I just remember, like,
Do you remember the play?
As a
I
wideout,
don't
that's
remember the
tough.
play, but I remember us being in the training room, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, finally, someone knows what I feel like.
That was. I've had
Bonding through misery.
broken rib, separated shoulder.
Yeah.
You name it. Sprained
Fungus
ankle,
on
like
your feet.
ankle surgery. That sprained big toe was the worst injury because you can't sit out and you can't take anything for it.
Especially
You just-
playing receiver.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Every
you
play
need-
you're
yeah.
running and
You putting the brakes on.
Yeah.
breaking
all
down in your
weight.
routes. Yeah.
That's tough.
That was awful. But the play, you might remember it. It was against the Vikings. Cam kind of laid me out to dry, but I caught it and I got flipped and I landed on my
Oh, your
head.
head.
I saw this
and
photo.
And I landed on my head.
You should have stuck the landing. It's your fault.
Yeah, and my legs spun around and the toe jammed into the turf.
Perfectly.
So I'm
I-
I'm like laying on the ground. Everyone thinks I'm concussed, right? Because I just landed on my head. But I'm laying on the ground like I think I just broke my toe. So they like kind of stopped the game. RV, the old trainer, comes out. He's like trying to do the concussion. I'm like, my head's fine. It's my toe.
Yeah.
And he was like, what?
What? Your toe.
They were like getting the tent ready and everything.
oh, he's lost his marbles.
I think I just
Hiding your helmet from you.
I started counting backwards by 7 because that's always what they ask. Before he asked, I was like 193, 86, 79, whatever. He was like, the head's fine.
Flex.
Yeah.
Please look at my
It's like
toe.
I
I went to Wofford. I know how to count, guy.
I was like, please don't. I need treatment on my toe. Let's not waste time on the concussion protocol.
Wow, but you caught it.
I did.
Respect.
Yep.
That's it. I love that. So you were saying, you're in the student, you're in a room with Smitty, you're in this with Jericho, Jason Avant, these guys that are seasoned, well known.
Yeah, so it was Smitty, Brandon LaFell. Who else was Dominique Hickson, Armani for a little bit in 13. And then it was basically wiped clean.
Yeah.
Right? Smitty left. We cut him. He went to Baltimore. And we drafted Kelvin Benjamin first round. And then we signed Jason Avant. I think it was from Philly.
Mm-hmm.
J. Coe from Pittsburgh for 2 vets. And it was just a whole new room.
Yeah.
Right? It was completely different. We had Marvin McNutt from the year before, who was Tavares King.
Oh, yeah,
he was
Tavares.
there. So they were in there in camp. So it was pretty much like, obviously, J.Co. and Avant were the vets. Kelvin was new and obviously going to be our number 1 pretty much as a first-round pick. And then it was kind of like a bunch of us bubble guys battling, Kilo Polaris, battling for kind of those last like 1 or 2 spots.
Yeah.
But like you said, Jericho, we could spend hours talking about how awesome of a person he is and teammate and coach. He ended up coaching me after he was
That's awesome.
assistant here. He was unbelievable. Shout out to him too. He's
Head coach.
Limestone.
Head coach, Limestone.
Yeah, HBCU now. He had a great podcast on NFL Players Second Ass podcast.
I saw that
too, so you can go check that out with Roman Harper, Peanut Tillman.
Yep. All teammates.
When you're on a bubble like that, what's your mindset day in and day out?
Well, we touched on it earlier. Stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Availability is the best ability.
Correct. Stay healthy. Shut up and do your job. So when you're young, especially when we're Smitty, I would just sit in the back of the meeting room and say yes, sir, to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and just do exactly what the vets say
Yep.
and what the coaches say.
Yeah, you hear that, youngsters?
I think that's why Smitty would refer to me as I forget the term, but I was basically a rookie, but like the head rookie, even when I was a third-year guy or second-year guy.
Yeah.
He was just like, I don't trust any of these guys. Bersin, go do this for me. And I would just do it.
That's a really good. That's
just
a
do it.
really
I didn't
good
care.
label there, because
100%.
as dissenting as
There's
it might
trust.
sound, it's really saying like, here are the keys.
Yeah.
I trust you.
He respected.
Trust.
And that's how you really earn a spot on any team. If you can trust someone,
That's right.
here are the keys, man. I'm out of town. Make sure the dog's fed. Make sure nobody get in trouble. Make sure they do their job. And when your number's called, just be ready.
The head rookie in charge.
So is that, obviously we said stay healthy and then be flexible, right? So at receiver and a bubble guy, at receiver specifically, I was able to play any spot. And I also learned the full offense to where I could even play Y, which was tight end. I wasn't playing tight end.
Yeah.
But if they needed someone to run the play, which is a pass play,
You knew what
you could
supposed
plug
to
in
do.
and do that. And H, right?
Mhm.
So like if we had to go 5 wide, I would be the receiver that would
receiver,
go in.
that's
So being able to,
The Jordan Matthews of the room.
shout out to
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Still doing it.
So flexibility, and then past that, obviously special teams was the ticket for
Yeah.
a guy like that, right? So I had played where, again, you need a wing, I'll play wing. I hadn't caught a punt since Wofford. And
Put you back there.
Yeah, maybe in practice, I was nowhere on the depth chart. Philly got knocked out in 14 at Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Got hurt. We were down.
You
50.
scored your touchdown on that game.
Yeah, DA, shout out.
Nice little goal line.
It was supposed to be a run play, and he just
Derek Anderson.
threw me a slant. Love DA.
Shout out DA.
But
We got to get him back.
Say
We got to
with
get
your-
him in the
say
booth.
it with your
Yes.
chest.
He would be outstanding.
Please
Yeah,
get
we gotta
DA.
get
DA, we're gonna
back.
get you on the.
All right.
We're gonna get you on the cast.
Great golfer too out here.
Great
Oh,
golfer.
yes.
It's
Yeah.
in a mile.
Awesome.
But yeah, they just threw me in at punt. Hey, because we were down like 4 touchdowns. Hey, go return these punts. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yes,
Got
sir.
the minutes.
Go out there. I
2014.
think I averaged like 15 on 2.
Also, the ultimate form of trust.
Oh yeah.
You are catching punts.
Yeah.
I had a quick story. When I was in Indianapolis, very first game against, oddly enough, the Buffalo Bills, and you're in your locker pregame, right, going through the game program and whatnot. So naturally, this is my first like game action. So I'm flipping through the pages, right, just reading, and I want to see my player profile, right. So I pull up, looking at the stats. 1 punt return, 17 yards.
Let's go.
I ain't never caught a punt in my life, fellas. Take this 17 yards.
Oh,
I don't know
They
who
just,
put that in
they
there.
just credited you with that.
They just credited me.
maybe
I'll
you
take
did.
it, though.
Did you pick up a fumble?
I've nope, not. I
Is
mean,
that how that stat works?
I mean,
don't know.
I've blocked many punts. Like that's where I was. I was put me in there. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to do for you back there.
No.
I might catch it,
Yeah, we might need.
but
you on
it
special
takes I
teams.
got long strides. It's gonna take me a while to get going. I ain't gonna be doing that. So, anyways,
I did a lot of
take
fair.
that.
I did a lot of fair catching.
so
Put it that way.
Yeah.
I guys do it, man.
Receive the ball. We need possession of the ball.
It's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift. So shout out to you, man, being flexible.
Which I
being-
will say, punt return was never an interest of mine. But I played baseball in high school, and anyone that wants to be a punt returner, I highly recommend catching fly balls
Yeah.
in baseball. It's very, very similar.
So,
anyway.
Burst, I saw an interesting stat line
Okay.
that I know that you're aware of. The stat says that ever since 2014, the Carolina Panthers,
17.
well,
No,
2000
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Ever since 2014 until 17, when you were on the Panthers and they let you go, things kind of went downhill.
Correct.
What's up with that, man?
That's kind of my running joke amongst my friend group. I just kind of joke that
The stat line's actually out there now. Someone
I saw
actually
it.
created
I've
the
been
stat
saying,
line.
I've been jokingly saying
The
it.
internet is undefeated.
And then I got tagged on Instagram a couple days ago. One of the fan accounts,
Yeah.
the news accounts, made that That's where you saw it, I'm assuming.
All right, maybe we can give him a 1 day. Let's talk demo. Let's see what we can make
Yeah,
happen.
maybe we can get you a 1-day contract to make this thing right.
Well, we got him in. We'll take this as the first step. We got him back in the
We
building.
need
He's
a-
in the booth. He's in the
If I
stadium.
can run sub 4.8 in our race, maybe.
Yeah, maybe this can be a tryout.
I can go fair catch some punts.
Yeah, I like that.
No returning.
Talk to us about
Awesome.
the new venture that you're working on right now.
Yeah, so we worked on a fantasy sports app, me and a co-founder of mine, in all sports. And it kind of links back to what you were talking about with Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
We're pivoting it to focus on fantasy golf specifically,
Golf is life.
which you can talk about that too. You're getting into that a lot. We need to
Yeah, we'll get up. Don't worry about
we'll
it.
do that. But what it's turned into is running fantasy golf contests for organizations looking to raise money for a cause. So it could be a nonprofit, it could be a charity, foundation, but NILs has been a big thing. So you kind of, Oregon might be different because it's a bigger school, but a lot of schools, majority, if not all of the NIL money is going to basketball and football, right? And I've also heard women's basketball too, which is third. But all these other sports, which we all know, universities and colleges have a ton of different sports, from track and field to baseball,
Lacrosse,
lacrosse,
soccer.
golf, right? Men's and women's. They're not getting any of that money, and they're all already behind the curve in terms of scholarship money from the school itself. So it's a way to run a fantasy golf contest, almost like a 50-50 raffle ticket, to raise money. Half the money would go to prizes within the contest. The other half goes directly to the NIL, right? And they're in charge of where that would go. But the idea would be to help the golf program, right? Whether that's facilities or recruiting or maybe creating a new scholarship through that. But back to your point with the podcast being a kind of a supplemental revenue stream for these schools or NILs, this is another avenue, right? It's another way for them to passively raise money and interact and engage,
Yeah,
kind of what they're following.
and it's a good way to like create awareness of the fact, right? Because when people hear NIL, it's such a loose term. It's like, what is that? You know, like
That's
you
right.
want the kids to have money? Well, this is why. You know, and this is what it should look like. It's like an educational opportunity.
It's one step back too. I think when people hear scholarship, they automatically think that every athlete is getting the same thing or received a full scholarship or has got everything paid for. But we know, especially being, I can say like Oregon, good chance a lot of your scholarship programs are getting taken care of across the board. At small 1AA schools, Wofford, University of Maine, every scholarship is not the same across the board.
And
right, these kids are expected to stay on campus for summertime and they're eating hot dogs and eggs. Right? Like you're surviving.
And you're what I've learned, and I learned the hard way. I have a quick story at Wofford. They construct these, in quotes, full rides. I'm there on a full ride for football.
That's right.
But behind the scenes, it's like 60% from athletic endowment and 40% from the educational department, or I mean, it could even
They
be
find a
more,
way.
right?
Yeah.
So I was under a full ride, but sophomore year, I think it was first semester sophomore year, I slipped to a 2.99. Sorry, Mom, but the GPA got a little low, and I got an automated email saying my scholarship was in jeopardy.
Ooh.
And I went to the head coach. I was like, what is this about? They probably did tell me I was 18 when I signed whatever, but he's like, technically half your scholarship's academic, and you have to maintain a 3.0 or above. He's like, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
He's like, just stop.
Brenton
Getting
Bersin
C's.
almost never was.
Yeah.
Then-
Almost had to leave Wofford. And
That's
Education
somewhere
comes
else.
first, kids. Make sure you
I figured it
get in
out.
them books.
you figured it out.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody in college kind of has that one semester where you flirting with it.
Well,
Yeah.
I was never Wofford's a liberal arts school. I was never an English, history, like that was not my thing. I was a math
Numbers
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
The things that matter.
That semester was like history, English, art, music.
That's right.
There was not a single math course.
Wasn't your thing.
No.
You didn't have any interest in
I think
theater.
the best or my best grade was like a B in chemistry
Oh wow, that's pretty good in chemistry.
or B
Good
plus
Lord.
maybe. And that was probably the hardest class for
Yeah.
other people. But
As a former player, as a former receiver, having the connections with, your quarterbacks, what could you tell us just from like a fan perspective of what they could have been going through?
so and I am always an optimist. So I immediately was getting texts from my friends that are fans, right?
What's going on?
Oh my God, it's happening again. Like
Right.
all negative, right? I immediately go to the defense of either Bryce or just the play. We don't know, as a fan, you don't know what the call was. You don't know what the route was supposed to be. Yes, you know that he was running a dig,
Right.
right? And clearly that was probably the play call based on the post on the backside. But he squared it off. Deontay, I think, was the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He squared it off at, it looked 10 yards.
10 yards.
For all we know, it was
It could've
supposed to
been
be a
short.
speed cut
Right.
at 12 to 15.
Right.
Right.
I have no idea what that route was supposed to be. Obviously, he had man, so maybe he cut it short. Bryce should hit it on his body. You should see that. But for all we know, it could have been on the receiver,
Right.
right? I'm going to assume it wasn't because I'm a receiver.
Because
but we don't know as the fans, so I don't.
The details,
Yeah.
the intricacies.
And it's
that
never
go into
as
play.
bad, it's never as good as it seems.
That's
right. Until you watch film. And I watched the 22
22 replay.
I
full
love
replay.
watching that.
I
That's great.
love it.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's
Yeah.
hard to watch as a receiver because you can't see the coverages
Yeah.
and you can't see the route.
On regular.
Do they still have the
replay.
wide view?
They have both views.
They have both. They,
Yeah.
they do
The
both.
end zone
Sorry,
views,
side-
but-
end
It's just
zone.
like watching
Yeah.
film.
That's right. Yeah.
Like if you were back
Yeah.
on.
That's right.
But because one of the things I saw was like the pass protection. Right. I'm like, man, how you getting hit up inside the head by this DB?
Yep.
Right. But if you actually look like at what's happening from that visual,
Yep.
I'm thinking to myself, oh well, we just missed a call.
Yeah, they
We
just
got to get the running back
they,
over there.
They
We
brought
got to
4 weak,
right.
and the running back went to the
Right.
right.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Even I see that.
Yeah, so-
I know you see that.
And so like there's little things like that as far as communication. And I wanted to bring this up because if anyone's listening right now, these are all fixable things.
Yep.
It's
right.
all
That's right.
fixable.
That's
It's
right.
not like and
Communication.
everyone's gonna have a bad day. We just had a really bad day.
Yeah.
And they had a really, really good day because they were able to be effective on capitalizing on our mistakes.
Correct.
So I just wanted to bring that up because I know you are still tuned in. I'm still tuned in. A lot of, Panther, vets, we're tuned into
yeah.
this thing because I think this organization is very special to us from the standpoint that it is new.
I can promise you there because I get the phone blows up.
Yeah.
Right. Good, bad, and otherwise.
Yeah.
Right. Good, bad, and otherwise.
Wow.
But you're so right. The details that go into it when you're talking about protections, it's not that guys up front can't do it.
Right.
That's that communication call. Do you know how loud it is playing there? And yeah, you could
Mm-hmm.
say again, no excuses, this and that, but this is the first time that this team's taking the field together as a unit
In
in a live action
In the
right?
dome.
In the dome, right? And I
Loud.
always say this, right? And I think we've talked about this before. Week 1, you don't know, especially now with preseason, you're not seeing starters, you're not knowing what teams are going to bring out. You're seeing limited playbooks. When you come out week 1, it is about momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get behind the sticks and you get behind with a pick and a touchdown early in New Orleans,
Yeah.
you have lost your momentum. And so to get back up, you're pushing a boulder uphill now, and you got to almost be perfect.
Yeah.
You have to almost be perfect in that sense. And if you don't, yes, the other team is likely going to find a way to capitalize on it in that
And
environment.
it takes longer for an offense to
No question.
get
Always.
things together out the gate, let alone the first game, a division opponent, new coaching staff. You got all these things working against you. And so it takes a while for an offense to come together because the defense, our defense, they've been running the same defense since last year. So they are a little bit more prepared. We don't need to get to the defense, but what I'll say is there's still a chance to create our own momentum. And we've seen it happen in history of football.
No question.
2018, Houston Texans started off 0-4. Guess who ended up in the playoffs?
I mean, you
the
could
Houston
point to
Texans.
the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs,
Slow
2015.
Slow starts, find a way, right? So, I think at the end of the day, everybody take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Let's not overreact.
Ah.
It's football. It's the NFL. They're on scholarship too.
one
We'll
game.
find a way.
And we got Brenton Bersin in the house, man.
That's right.
Thank you for coming by. sharing
That's
with
right.
us what you got going on in your life.
It's good to see you
Power to
around,
you.
man.
Golf is life. We got to get out in the golf course.
let's do it.
All
We
three
keep,
of us.
we keep talking about it.
Yeah, we talk about it, but we're going to get
Listeners are probably like, man, forget
there.
that
They don't
you
play
gotta
no
go.
golf.
We
Did
certainly
you
don't.
see his swing yesterday?
I didn't
Here
see
we
it.
go.
No, nice.
Here we go.
Oh, you got a nice
I
swing.
gave him a compliment, and he took it as a backhanded compliment.
No, Jeremy can golf.
When you're, it's like the Hendo swing,
Mhm.
6'6",
Yeah,
long,
yeah, nice like whippy
Look,
good tempo.
once we get the
Simple Town.
once we really get some reps, we'll be all right.
Yep.
I need to be swinging the sticks like Wesley Walls. That's a guy right there.
That's a stick
He
right
make-
there.
Is he a stick?
Oh,
Yeah.
my
I've never
God.
played with him.
It's like
Yeah.
Wesley is just an athlete. You can tell by the way he's 50-something years old, and he gets out there like he's like it's nothing, and the ball goes a mile on a beautiful 4-yard draw right down the
Hey,
middle.
we got our
every
foursome
time.
set up then.
There it is.
Let's do it.
Boom.
Let's make it
Well,
happen.
hollow.
Brenton, great to have you in the building as my headphones fall off. What's going on here? It's
Nah.
okay. I got excited about
Yep.
golf. Great to have you in, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
That was
thanks for tuning in to Stu and the crew.
Another episode.
Another episode. Excited for the rest of the
We'll
season.
see you this week. Panthers
Yeah.
Chargers
Yep.
at the bank.